Hello everyone, I am Kshitij and in today's class we are going to study motion. It is a part of NCERT science book for class 9th. So we will start with basic concepts of motion, and motion is incomplete without studying about the position. So we will begin with position. Okay, so suppose there are four people A, B, C, D who are sitting in a row equidistant from their neighbors from left to right. So we will discuss the position of B with respect to A, we will discuss the position of B with respect to C, and we will discuss the position of B with respect to D. So whenever we are talking about position of B with respect to A, so B is sitting to the quite right, to the immediate right of A. Okay, so that is position of B with respect to A. Now we will talk about position of B with respect to C. So B is sitting to the immediate left of C. So position of B with respect to C is immediate left of C. Position of B with respect to D. So B is sitting to the two places left of D. B is sitting two places left of D. So the position of B is varying with respect to referral point chosen at A, referral point chosen at C, and referral point chosen at D. So the position of B is relative, so which is varying according to the reference point. So that is the purpose. Now we have to talk about position of rest and position of motion. So when a body is said to be at rest, a body is said to be at rest if its position is not varying with respect to a referral point as time passes, or in other words, if a position of a body is not changing with respect to its surrounding. Okay, so that is a body at rest. And what about body in motion? A body is said to be in motion if there is continuous change in the position with respect to a referral point as time passes. Okay, so but point to be noted is that a body is said to be in motion or body is said to be in rest with respect to or with relative to a referral point. So is it possible that body can be at rest with respect to one referral point and body can be in motion with respect to another referral point? Yes, the answer is emphatic. Yes, it is quite possible that a body can be at rest with respect to one referral point and body can be in motion with respect to another referral point. Okay, so we are going to discuss this in with the help of an example in our next slide. Before that, what is the importance of earth in choosing a referral point? So whenever we are choosing a referral point, we are considering earth as a absolute point, considering it at rest. But always remember, earth is not at rest, earth is in motion, earth is in motion, but we are treating earth as rest. Okay, so now let's take an example of a traveler moving in a train. So when a traveler is moving inside a train, so to another person inside the train, he will appear to be at rest. Okay, so that is the referral point A, that is inside the train, he will appear to be at rest. Okay, and to another person outside the train, that is the referral point outside the train, that person will appear to be in motion. So simultaneously a person can be at rest and at motion with respect to two different referral point. Okay, so now we will move on to scalar quantity and vector quantity. So what do you mean by scalar quantity and what do you mean by vector quantity? So scalar quantity is a quantity that can be completely described by its magnitude. That can be completely described by its magnitude. So a scalar quantity have got two important properties. Scalar quantity have got a magnitude and a scalar quantity have got a direction. Examples of the scalar quantity are time, volume, speed, mass, temperature, distance, entropy, energy, work, and the list goes on and on. Okay, these all physical quantities have got the magnitude, but they haven't got the direction. So now we will talk about the vector quantity. So vector quantities are the quantities that have got both magnitude as well as direction. So they have got three important properties. Vector quantities have got magnitude, vector quantities have got direction, and vector quantities obeys vector law of addition. This third point we will be touching in great detail in class 11th. Okay, but in the class 9th, vector quantities are given as the quantities which has got magnitude and which has got direction. But there are some examples of physical quantities that have got magnitude and that have got direction, but still they are scalar. Examples are current and pressure. Okay, so examples of the vector quantities are displacement, force, torque, momentum, acceleration, velocity, etc. Okay, so let's talk about difference between distance and displacement. Okay, distance is the length of the path traveled by a body while moving from an initial point to final point. Okay, so distance is the length of the path traveled from initial point to final point, and the path may be the shortest path or it may not be the shortest path. So displacement is the shortest path between the initial point and the final point. Okay, and distance is a scalar quantity and displacement is a vector quantity. Okay, third difference is that distance is always positive. Distance measured is always positive, and displacement can be positive or negative depending on the reference point. Okay, so total distance covered is equal to the algebraic sum of all distance traveled in different direction, and net displacement is the vector sum of individual displacement in different direction. Okay, and whenever there is a motion, there is always going to be a distance traveled, but displacement may necessarily not be there in case there is motion. Displacement can even be zero even if there is motion. The unit of distance and displacement both is meter. Okay, now we are going to study the distance and displacement with the help of a example. Okay, suppose there are 2 points A and B. A body is traveling from A to B along a curved path AC dB, or the body may directly move from A to B. When a body is moving along the curved path AC dB, so a length of AC dB will be called as the distance, and the straight line connecting point A to point B, length of the straight line connecting point A to point B will be called as the displacement. As we know that shortest distance between 2 points is a line, is a straight line. So distance will be the length of the path AC dB and displacement will be length of the path AB. So that is the example. Okay, now we will talk about a circular path. Suppose a body is moving along a circular trajectory. So we will talk about the semicircle first. If a body is moving along a semicircle, so distance will be the length of the arc ACB. Okay, length of the arc ACB will be nothing but half of the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r, so length of the path ACB will be 2 pi r by 2, that will be equal to pi r, that will be the distance. And displacement will be the shortest distance between A and B, that will be equal to diameter of the circle, that is 2r. So along a semicircular path, distance will be pi r and displacement will be equal to 2r. And suppose a boy is running on a track and he starts from A and completes one round. So in that case, distance will be 2 pi r and displacement will be equal to 0. Okay. So now we will move to the concept of rate. So what do you mean by rate? Rate is defined as the ratio of change in two quantities. Ratio of change in two quantities. So rate can be of two types. One is average rate and one is instantaneous rate. So average rate of quantity A with respect to quantity B is net change in A divided by net change in B. That is average rate. That means delta A by delta B. Delta A by delta B. That is the average rate of quantity A with respect to quantity B. And what do you mean by instantaneous rate? Instantaneous rate is a rate at an instant, that is for a very short interval of time. Okay. So now we will move to application of the concept of rate. So speed, velocity and acceleration are all examples of rate. So let's move to average speed. So average speed, how will you calculate the average speed and what does it mean? Okay, so average speed is the ratio of total distance traveled divided by total time taken. So average speed is equal to total distance by total time. Okay, in other words, how will you explain? Suppose you are moving from point A to point B and its speed keep on changing during the journey and it is covering the distance in some time. So we can define the average speed as the uniform speed with which the body should travel to complete the same distance in the same time. That will be the average speed. Average speed is like the concept of average we studied earlier. So that is average speed. So now suppose there are 2 points, A point and B point. A boy is moving with velocity x miles per hour from A to B and then it is moving from B to A with the speed y miles per hour. So its average speed can be calculated by the formula 2x by divided by x plus y. Okay, now we will move to instant speed. Instant speed is the speed during a very short interval of time. Suppose a car is moving. So its speed at t is equal to 1 second is 10 miles per hour. So it is instantaneous speed of a car at t is equal to 1 second. And its speed at t is equal to 20 second is 0 miles per hour. That is the instantaneous speed at t is equal to 20 second. Okay, this is what we have spoken about speed. Now when we are talking about speed, we will talk about distance and time. But when we will talk about the velocity, we will talk about the displacement and time. So average velocity is net displacement by total time and instant velocity is velocity during a very small interval of time. So velocity is related to displacement and it is a vector quantity. Now let's talk about acceleration. So what do you mean by acceleration? The rate of change of velocity with respect to time is called as acceleration. So acceleration can also be average acceleration and instantaneous acceleration. So now the question arises, if the acceleration is a scalar quantity or the acceleration is a vector quantity. So acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. So velocity being a vector quantity, the acceleration will also be a vector quantity. Acceleration is a vector quantity. Okay, so now whenever we are moving along a circular path, so the magnitude of the velocity at every point will be constant, but its direction will keep on changing. So magnitude of the velocity will keep on constant and direction will keep on changing. So such type of motion is called as the accelerated motion. So now the next topic is retardation. So what do you mean by retardation? Retardation is negative acceleration is called as retardation. So negative acceleration means acceleration is delta v by delta t, change in velocity by change in time. Change in time will always be positive. So there will be negative change in the velocity. So if a body is said to be retarding, So its velocity will be decreasing with time. Its velocity will be decreasing with time. It is also called as deceleration. Deacceleration or deceleration. So if the velocity of a body decrease, the acceleration is said to be negative. So a body is said to be retarded if its velocity is decreasing. So now final topic for today is motion sensing or measuring devices. So how will you measure the distance? You will measure the distance with the help of a device known as odometer. It is normally fitted in all automobiles. You can see how much distance the auto has traveled and how it is calculating the distance. It is related to the movement of the wheels of a auto vehicle. How much the wheels are rotating. That's how we are calculating the distance. So odometer is used to measure distance. Then comes speedometer. Speedometer is used to measure speed, and accelerometer is used to measure acceleration. So thank you. That's all for today, and see you soon. Okay.